Yep, it's another backyard chicken video. Hang on tight. Solana Beach has set new rules for backyard chickens and beekeeping. Solana Beach, if you don't know, is in San Diego, Southern California. So this is a really interesting article I thought I'd share with you. And it just goes to show that yes, many communities are allowing you to now raise your own chickens and do bees even, and some other things we'll talk about later in the week. But look at how they're trying to regulate it. It's getting to the point of absurdity. Let's read the article. Solana Beach, the city council provided initial feedback last week for the creation of new city regulations that would allow more residents to keep backyard chickens and beehives. City code currently permits chickens in the city's estate residential and low residential zones on properties. You hear that? That's like a quail. He's really being vocal for some reason. I'm pretty sure that's a male quail. Cotornix quail. Okay. On June 10th, city staff recommended code updates to make urban agricultural activities more accessible to residents. Over the years, several residents have advocated for the city to expand access to chickens, in particular, due to the benefits they provide, such as fresh, affordable eggs, fertilizer for gardening, and composting food scraps. Several council members said that they are aware of residents illegally keeping chickens outside the allowed zones or keeping beehives, and said that they would support loosening the current regulations because we don't want anyone breaking the law, especially when the laws are absolutely retarded. I personally get a lot of input on people wanting to do this. I'm certainly supportive in trying to expand and allow chicken coops in the neighborhood, said council member Dave Zito. Mayor Lisa Hebner said her husband maintains 3 beehives on their property, that's the mayor, that are technically illegal. She said that in addition to being a fulfilling hobby, beekeeping supports the pollination of local plants and can provide residents with honey. When it comes to chickens, city staff recommended expanding current regulations to allow them in low, medium density residential zones, which would open them up to many more areas of the city. So they want to create zones. So you're in this zone and you're in that zone. This zone is allowed to do that. That zone is allowed to do this. Absolutely ridiculous. Why not you just let people do what they want to do? Unless you're hurting somebody, if you start causing a nuisance or cause problems, fine. But well, what zone are you in? That'll let you know what freedoms you have. The council also discussed, here we go, coop sizes, coop maintenance, flock sizes, El Cajun and Encentitas, these are obviously towns in Southern California that have Latino names. Each allow a maximum of 10 chickens per home. Oceanside allows 6, and San Diego allows between 5 and 25, depending on the distance of the coop from other structures. So you're gonna have inspectors coming out with a tape measure and then making sure that your size coop is exactly right, and it's the right amount of distance from other structures, and the blades of grass aren't too tall. Wade also said the city would set a minimum of 3 to 4 chickens to ensure a healthy flock. You can't have too few chickens. We're allowing you to have chickens. So now you have to have the right amount of number that we say you have to have. The current city code also requires coops to be at least 35 feet from adjacent buildings. Staff said the code could be changed to set minimum setbacks or another minimum distance. It says most coops could be permitted under the city's accessory structure code, which would not require a building permit, staff said. Coops are also required to be predator-proofed, regularly cleaned, well ventilated, and provide adequate nesting structures. Are you absolutely kidding me? Have you ever been to a commercial chicken farm? For residents who want to keep chickens or bees, council members said it would be beneficial to require them to obtain sign-off from neighboring property owners depending on the size of their lot. Yes, not only do you have to make sure you have the right amount of space inside your coop and that your coop is a certain amount of distance from other buildings and structures, and that you have the required maximum and minimum amount of birds, now you have to go to your neighbors and ask their permission to do something on your own property. Staff also noted that individual HOAs, that's homeowners associations, otherwise known as Karens, a group of Karens, could still prohibit chickens or bees even if they become permitted under the new regulations. Absolute insanity. It says here, roosters would not be permitted. State law also requires beekeepers to register their hives with the local agricultural commission. Only docile bee species would be allowed. So not only all of that, but you're going to register your beehive and you're going to have inspected and you're going to be made sure that you only have docile bees. Probably you'll have to make sure all of your bees will have concealed carry permits for their stingers. Staff said that the city would also require that hives be in a secure area surrounded by a 6-foot-tall barrier and located near a water source. Hives would require a new queen to be introduced every 2 years. How's that gonna work? Is the inspector gonna come out, pull out the queen, sit her down, interview her, and say, how long have you been here? City staff recommended capping the number of beehives at 2, but Hebner requested that the city allow 3, provided the lot has sufficient space. Okay, listen, I am really, really happy that the momentum is very hard pushing towards freedom to grow chickens in your backyard. I love that. And there are communities all over the country that are doing that. We even have our vice president now with his own chicken coop in his own backyard where he keeps chickens and they get eggs from it. So we're normalizing something that this country has been doing literally for 100 years, since the beginning, since the founding. So that's fantastic. But people who are in power really have a hard time giving up that power. And they want to have control. And they say, we don't want to control you. It's just about management. No, no, no. It's about tyranny. It's about control. It's about telling you what you can do with your own property. Don't let them lie to you and say it's anything else other than that. If they don't approve of it, you're not going to do it. What do you think? Leave a comment below. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Hey, check out these solar generators over at OUPES. These things are fantastic. I've been using them for years. I use them for ham radio communications. I use them to keep a freezer running during a power outage if I need it. I use them as backup power all the time. And right now we have grid issues all across this country. We have the grid under severe stress because all these data centers are being built. So if you are going to experience grid problems this summer, and you guys know that some people are in areas of the country that experience more grid problems than others, you want to go ahead and go to OUPES.com. The link is down below, and you can click and you can get a discount on a backup power generator just for your home that's going to be reliable, it's going to be safe. Check them out, link down below. See you next time on the Homestead. Bye. One of the best perks about living off-grid is that I never pay an electric bill. I love being my own power company, but that means when things go wrong, I have to be the one on call. So I try and use reliable components for my power production. For the last couple of years, I've been promoting OUPES solar generators. I've been using them and abusing them, and as it turns out, they are pretty good products. They have power generators for all occasions, and they can be charged by permanent or portable solar panels, as well as AC power. They offer true lithium iron phosphate batteries, and this is important. Recently, a family in my area had a different brand that uses the less stable nickel manganese cobalt or NMC type batteries. The unit caught fire in the middle of the night. It was a scary situation and it caused damage to the home, but thankfully nobody was hurt. The generator, as you can see, was a total loss. This drives home the point on why it's so important to employ solar generators like the OUPES brand that uses the much more safe and stable technology of lithium iron phosphate, otherwise called LiFePO4. They offer small generators for travel or for powering an entire home and everything in between. These are great backups to have in a medical emergency or to power a freezer full of your favorite meat products, or as I have shown in past videos, for even backup AC and DC power sources for ham radio communications. If the grid goes down, you're going to be thankful you have one of these units. You can find the link in the description of this video or click on the banner ad found on the front page of our website, AnAmericanHomestead.com. Right here, that banner ad right there on AnAmericanHomestead.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of An American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. Oh wait.